What if the Queen's final move wasn't about money at all, but about forcing a broken family to finally face each other? All right, stay with me here, because this story starts quietly. No trumpets, no balcony waves, just a room, a desk, and a piece of paper that was never supposed to make noise and somehow ends up echoing through the entire royal family. So picture this. November 23rd, 2025. Early morning. Buckingham Palace is doing what it always does, being very expensive, very quiet, and very good at pretending nothing dramatic ever happens inside its walls. King Charles is in his private office, the same room where his mother spent decades reading dispatches, signing documents, and deciding the fate of things most of us will never think about before breakfast. This wasn't meant to be a big day. No announcements, no crises, just a routine legal review. One of those dull, procedural moments where everyone expects to nod, initial papers, and move on. Famous last words. Charles is sitting at that heavy mahogany desk, yes, the intimidating one, glasses on, sleeves neat, looking like a man prepared to be bored. Across from him are senior legal advisors, the keeper of the privy purse, and a couple of people whose job description basically boils down to knows where the secrets are buried. A leather portfolio is opened. Pages slide out. Assets, estates, jewelry, Balmoral, Sandringham, all the things everyone already knows about. Everything looks normal, familiar, settled. And then one more envelope. Not listed, not flagged, not discussed before. Charles breaks the seal, and immediately something feels off. The paper isn't typed, it's handwritten. And not just handwritten, it's her handwriting, Queen Elizabeth's. Not the smooth, confident script from decades ago. This is shakier, slower, careful. The writing of someone who knows time is short and every word matters. The date at the top stops him cold. March 15th, 2022. 6 months before she died. If you're enjoying this already, hit like, because trust me, this only gets messier from here. Charles starts reading. Once, twice, 3 times. The room goes silent. No coughing, no shifting, no polite, "Shall I clarify that, sir?" nonsense. Everyone can see it on his face. This isn't admin. This isn't legal housekeeping. This is personal. Because what his mother left behind wasn't just instructions, it was a message, and it was about Harry, the son who left, the son who burned bridges on live television, the son whose name still lands like a dropped plate in royal conversations. This document rewrites everything Charles thought he knew about his mother's final wishes. Not because she changed her mind, but because she hid part of it, deliberately. And she hid it until she knew he, not the press, not Parliament, not the public, would be the one forced to deal with it. The clause is real, properly witnessed, legally airtight, no wiggle room, no interpretive flexibility. The lawyers confirm it within minutes. And here's the part that hits hardest. This isn't a simple inheritance, it's a test. Queen Elizabeth set aside roughly £20 million for Prince Harry. Pause there. Breathe. Yes, that's a lot of money. No, that's not the point, because Harry doesn't just get it, he has to do something. Condition 1. Harry must maintain a meaningful connection to the UK and the Commonwealth, not ceremonial, not symbolic. Real time, real presence, at least 90 days per year, working on charitable causes, community initiatives, actual engagement. No royal duties, no balcony appearances, no pretending everything is fine, but also no disappearing act. Condition 2, the children. About £5 million is set aside specifically for Archie and Lilibet, education, upbringing, future stability. But, and here's where it gets uncomfortable, those funds are managed by trustees approved by both Harry and the reigning monarch. Translation, Charles has oversight. And the Queen adds something else, something very grandmotherly.
She writes that her great-grandchildren should not grow up strangers to the land of their ancestors. That line alone feels like it was written with a sigh. And then, because apparently she wasn't done emotionally wrecking everyone, there's a personal letter attached, addressed to Charles, not the king, her son. She acknowledges the anger, the hurt, the betrayal. She doesn't pretend Harry caused damage, she doesn't sugarcoat it, but she reminds Charles of something simple and devastating. Harry is still her grandson, and she couldn't leave this world without trying one more time to make sure he and his children weren't lost to the family forever. She doesn't order Charles to forgive, she asks him to consider. She calls the inheritance materials for rebuilding. What they build with it is up to them. That's when Charles takes off his glasses and pinches the bridge of his nose, the universal sign of "I did not sign up for this today." Imagine the weight of that moment. You inherit the crown, the duties, the history, and also your mother's unfinished family crisis, sealed in ink and dropped in your lap like a ticking clock. If this is hitting you, subscribe, because these are the kinds of stories that don't get told straight. Because now Charles has a problem, actually several. First, does he honor his mother's wishes, even if they complicate his reign? Second, what does William say? Because William is not exactly team reconciliation. When Charles tells him the next day, William listens, quiet, controlled, jaw tight, and when it's done, he doesn't hesitate. Grandmother overstepped, that's his view. To William, this feels like manipulation from beyond the grave, forcing contact, forcing compromise, forcing emotional labor from people Harry publicly shredded. He makes one thing clear: if Charles proceeds, he won't sabotage it, but he won't participate either. Civil, distant, done. And honestly, a lot of people would understand. The advisors are split too. The old guard says honor the Queen, always, no hesitation. The newer voices worry about optics, about rewarding behavior, about reopening wounds in public. And then there's Charles, alone, late at night, thinking about his mother, thinking about Harry as a little boy, thinking about the son who wrote a book that ripped him apart. This isn't about law, it's about what kind of father and king he wants to be. Now let's jump 3,000 miles west, California. Harry has no idea any of this exists. His life is busy, controlled chaos, projects, deals, speaking gigs, the strange reality of being anti-royal while still being very royal. Financially stable, sure, but not invincible. Security costs alone eat money like it's popcorn. His relationship with Charles, polite, sparse, careful. With William, practically non-existent. And then there's Meghan, because let's be real, any decision Harry makes, he doesn't make alone. The conditions would mean regular returns to the UK, the place Meghan associates with trauma, hostility, and relentless press intrusion. The children would be expected to spend time there too. Trustees, oversight, structure. Some would see that as connection, others would see control. But then there's the part Harry wouldn't be able to ignore. His grandmother did this for him, in her final months, quietly, carefully, trying to leave a door open when everything else was slamming shut. That would land hard. Love, guilt, suspicion, gratitude, anger, all tangled together. So what happens next? Charles follows advice, a formal legal notice, proper channels, no leaks, and a personal letter, measured, calm, no pleading, just an open door. Harry will have about 90 days to respond, accept, reject, or negotiate. Acceptance means conversations, structures, face-to-face interactions that haven't happened in years. Rejection means headlines, endless headlines. Negotiation is the wild card, reduced days, adjusted terms, compromises, and every choice sends a message to the family, to the public, to the future.
The Queen didn't solve the problem, she just refused to let it die with her. If you've made it this far, drop a comment. Do you think Harry should accept or walk away? Because somewhere between London and California, a family is standing at a crossroads they never expected, guided by a grandmother who even in death wasn't done trying. Thanks for spending this time with me. I really appreciate you being here.